So today I want to peel the curtain back a little bit, and I want to talk about something that equally bothers me as a content creator and a comedian, but it's something that equally personally struggle with. And it's something that it's a constant battle in my head about knowing what works and doing what I want. This is the Ball Podcast, another episode. I welcome you into welcoming me. I welcome you. Yeah. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoy these episodes. Today we're gonna discuss some things. Now, before I say anything, I just want to preface this whole thing with whatever I say here, I'm not looking at one person. I'm not looking to start anything. I'm just talking about my what I see and what I struggle with and my feelings on it. I'm not looking to attack anybody. I'm not looking for anyone to take it personal. It's just something that, as someone who tries to push out content every day and try to think of ideas every day that are not being done to death, that are not, it's something that I want to open up to you guys, to the people who listen to this. And that is, it's rage bait. Rage bait content is what works. You know, it's I know it, here's the thing. If I knew that if my content brought pissed people off, brought angry emotions to people, I would be a lot more popular than I am right now. You know, it's something that I struggle with every day when I'm making a video. It's should I do something that's divisive? That's something that's gonna get people angry. That's gonna get people going. Because I know that's gonna work. That's what's gonna get people to comment, to share. That's gonna make the algorithm make it all go crazy. And I choose not to go that route. You know, it's it's something that, again, every day I go through this whole battle in my head. And honestly, the choice that I make, that's the choice that I have to live with, and I pay for that choice. I'm not as popular as a lot of other Italian content creators. My growth is slow. I joke around that my social media presence is like my metabolism. It's ridiculously slow and it's hard to get going. Cuz it's the truth. I've been in this game for a long time, and only recently do I get some traction, and it's still very slow compared to what other people do. You know, I know, like I said, I know what would work. I know that if I leaned into the caricature of an Italian character, my views would go up because people get mad at the caricatures. People get mad at the people who are overdoing the Italian, that are overdoing the stereotypes. And that's what gets people to comment. When people comment on a video and say, "Oh, this person played Mario Kart once," and then that's why they think they're Italian. Yeah, it's a bad comment. It's a hateful comment, but that comment is telling the algorithm that people are engaging with this content. Do you know how many people, and I'm going to be honest, watch my videos loyally, but don't comment, don't like, don't interact with anything I post? So what does that tell the algorithm? That, yeah, this guy, you can show his videos to people, but they're not going to do anything. They're not going to comment. They're not going to share. They're not going to like. They're just going to watch. So they don't push my stuff out because of that. And here's the thing. I know that if I was louder, dumber, even meaner, I'd be more popular. But at what cost? I'd rather be me. I'd rather do the stuff that I like doing. I mean, I've said it. I started being a comedian before my dad got sick. 2010 was when I started being a comedian. I started doing stand-up. I did probably maybe 3% of my jokes were about being Italian. Everything else was about being, at the time, engaged, growing up fat, being fat, trying to meet girls, growing up in Brooklyn, stuff like that. None of the Italian stuff was there. It's... So, when I started doing the video stuff, again, it wasn't until my dad died in 2019 that everything shifted and I started concentrating on, a way to argue with my dad again. And while that triggers some feelings, it doesn't trigger the feelings that the algorithm likes. And don't get me wrong. The people that do the rage bait content, that do exaggerate the Brooklynese or the Italianness, or do all the things that bother you, I don't hate them. I don't. Because they're entitled to do whatever works. And I know why they're doing it, because it works. I don't hate them. I'm jealous of their freedom. I'm jealous that they have no problem doing it. That they're okay knowingly pissing off a bunch of people. That they don't overthink. That they don't spiral about these things. That's their choice on what to do. And my biggest enemy is my own mind. I overthink everything. I have a fear of being judged. I have a fear of being misunderstood. I have a fear of being reduced to the joke. So I want to carry, yes, granted, in my videos I play the idiot. I play I think what they call in comedy, the straight guy to my dad. Right? But I play kind of an idiot. And that's because that's what's needed in the setup. Or my dad plays the idiot. I don't want to be the butt of the joke. I grew up bullied. Listen, I was a fat kid, right? Whose dad cut my hair to whatever he wanted. I have a picture upstairs of, I think it's my second grade school picture. I'm wearing a vest and I have like a pompadour haircut. Do you think I chose that haircut? Do you think my dad was doing me any favors sending me to school with a freaking pompadour haircut when I was the fat kid in class? So I didn't have it easy growing up. I was always the fat kid, I was always when we all went to the clubs and we all went to the thing, I was the fat friend. I was the friend that you didn't have to worry about the girls liking because I was the fat friend, because my first impression wasn't good. Yeah, I could talk to you, and then probably after 45 minutes to an hour of having a conversation, you're going to be like, oh wow, this kid's got a personality. I actually like him. But initially, no one paid no mind. So my fear is becoming the joke. So I can't do what these people do. And I struggle with that. Like I said, I started doing stand-up in 2010. A couple years in, that's when I started doing just online stuff. But here's the thing. From 2000, let's say 11, let's put it even a year past 2011 to 2019-ish, right after my father died, I strictly made memes. I just made memes of Italian things. I was a meme page. I was Rocco the Comic, the meme page. The most popular meme I made was on Christmas Eve. I remember doing it. I was sitting at my parents' house. I took a picture from Finding Nemo, and I put, watch out, look out. So whatever it is, look out, watch out. It's Christmas Eve and the Italians are coming. That picture went viral. It got stolen to shit. The amount of people who would badly Photoshop over my watermark was laughable. And I would get mad at the time. I would chase people. Hey, you stole my meme. You stole my... Like an idiot. Like now I look back and I'm an idiot for doing that. It's a meme. It's a freaking picture. It's Finding Nemo. But that was me. And you know why? Why was I making memes? Because I was afraid to do this, to talk to the camera. I did not have the confidence to talk to the camera and post it. I could go on stage. I could go on stage and talk to 300 people in a room. No problem. But I couldn't talk to the camera by myself because I was afraid of what was on the other side of that camera. Right? I was afraid of posting it and getting just ripped to shreds. Ripped to shreds. So it just kept me from growing. I avoided showing my face. I just held myself back for fear. I was so scared of what people would say about me that I just never gave them the chance to do it. And a lot of that comes from my self-esteem, the bullying I experienced growing up. Shit, I was bullied as an adult. My son was born in 2014. 2014, I was to the point where I had to file a report with the police because there was 3 kids from my neighborhood who would constantly prank call me, throw eggs at my house, send Chinese food, pizza to my apartment. Constantly. I thought I knew who it was. I even didn't talk to my best friend for years because I thought he was involved. So during that time, I was shot. Memes was all I was doing. I was not going to put this face in front of anyone who could rip it. And I still struggle with it because I know that if I started earlier, at that time, I'd be a lot further ahead. Because I was one of the first in the room. I'm not the first in the room. I don't say I created anything. I don't have an ego. The furthest thing I don't have is an ego. Right? Sometimes when I do shows with people, they'll be like, oh, but I need to be the headliner. And I'm like, be the headliner. I don't care. It does zero to me. It does zero to me whether I go first, last. At Caroline's, when you used to ask me, Rocco, when do you want to go? I say, put me first. Put me first. I don't care. Put me first. Let everyone else have their ideas. Wherever you want to put me, you put me, I'll go. And here's the thing. A lot of people, I admit that I'm a slow growth, but I do have a loyal following. The people who do follow me, the people that do enjoy my content, they're loyal. And they love me. And I love them. And I know, and this is hard for me to say, I know I'm better than probably 99% of the content that's out there. But because I'm the way I am and the things that I'm doing, it's not vibing with anyone else. I don't fit in with anyone else. So my success is just whatever I do to make it. You know? A lot of people will associate visibility with success. So here's something that I always joke around. It's like you always see on social media these Italian American content creator events. They're everywhere. You see all these people together, hanging out. It's like, holy, like, wow, look at this is actual community. You'll never see me. Because I'm not invited to these things. Because I don't network. I'm a horrible network person because I'm not a businessman. I'm not a business guy. If I do a video with you, if I do a show with you, I'm not looking at you as a business person. I'm looking at you as nice guy, probably a friend of mine. So I don't reach out to people. I don't be like, "Hey guys, let's collaborate. Hey guys, let's do," cuz I didn't start doing stand up because I wanted to be famous or I wanted to grow a following or something. I just needed a place to talk. People told me before I started the stand up stuff, people told me, "Rocco, you tell great stories. You should you should do stand up comedy because the way you can talk to people." So I did the classes. I tried it out. And it gave me a feeling that I didn't feel before. I finally had a voice. I was always the one overlooked in the room because I am not the loudest person in a room. I'm usually the quietest person in the room. Stand up gave me a voice. It made me feel good to do. It made me feel good to write these things out, to tell the stories. I felt great when I heard people laugh at what I was saying. And that made me feel good. So I didn't do this stuff to become a business. Do I want the success? Yeah, I do because and the only reason I want the success is because I want to go out there and I want more opportunities to perform out there. Not because I want to be on this show or on that show or I want people to really reach out to me. I want to be able to perform more because I love the feeling of being on stage. I hate the feeling right before it because my anxiety goes through the roof. And it's funny, me and Carlo from the Uncle Louie variety show are the exact same right before a show. And we discovered this on the shows that we've done together, and it's hilarious. Both of us reach a level of anxiety before we go on stage where we wish the show would get canceled, where we wish the show would stop, where we wish that why the hell did we even decide to do comedy? What are we, stupid? This is crazy. I hate it. Both of us feel the exact same way before we go on stage. Then we go on stage. And they laugh. It's like a drug. It is. And there's people out there like me and Carlo who don't do it for the notoriety, for all the other reasons. We do it because of the art of it and the way it makes us feel while we're doing it. So this is all on me. It's not anyone else's fault that I'm not getting invited to events, that I'm not being asked to collaborate with people. That's all me. That's all my fault. All right, now I'm back. If you want to see what the cut was about right now, just just wait till the end because I put some bloopers or whatever in the end. But yeah, I'm not a business guy. I'm not. I'm horrible at it. I didn't grow up. Here's the thing, and it's something that my entire family line, none of us were businessmen. None of us had money. I'm not from a line of people who were go-getters. We're hustlers. No one in my family was a hustler. So I'm not a hustler. I don't pretend to be one. I don't pretend to be. Growing up, I did not pretend to be a gangster. I did not overdo it. Yeah, did I spike my hair at one point? Yeah, I look like an idiot. All right? Because no one with a double chin looks good with spiked hair. So, and now I barely don't have any hair. So, I should have kept spiking it, I guess. But here's the thing with the stand-up and all the rage and stuff, because it even ties into my stand-up. In my stand-up, I talk about me. I talk about my circle, my life. The things that I can tangibly touch. I don't talk about politics. I don't talk about Trump. I don't talk about anything that's going to divide a room. Because I don't... Listen, I know that would get a reaction. Divisiveness gets the reaction. Divisiveness gets the audience. Anger gets the audience. But here's the thing. I don't want that. I don't want it. I grew up uncomfortable. I am always uncomfortable. My goal is to make you comfortable. I don't want to make you uncomfortable. I don't want to make you feel weird. I don't want to... I remember years ago, I was being booked for a show, and they told me, listen, when you do your stand-up, don't really antagonize the crowd, because last year we had a fight. There was a fight because the comedian was too antagonizing to people, and he started a fight and all this stuff. So whatever you do, don't talk to the crowd. Don't talk to the crowd. Please, 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 don't talk to the crowd. And I was like, all right, perfect. I don't talk to the crowd. I talk to them if they talk to me, but I don't pick on people. Listen, I don't make fun of people. I don't pick on people. I'll answer you. I'll have fun with you, but I'm not that person. Long story short, for that show, they wanted me to antagonize the crowd, but this asshole listened to them and didn't antagonize the crowd. And then they got mad at that. But that's what it is. I've been in rooms. And listen, people think it's cool, like, yeah, comedian's supposed to say what not everyone's saying. Okay, that's great. Let them say it. But it's not me. I do not care. I do not think my opinion is better than anyone else's. I do not care about your opinion. And this is what changed. I probably used to be that way. I used to be the way where I'd be like, yeah, maybe I would say it. Maybe I would say it, but here's the thing, and this is what changed me. And it's honestly, my mother died in 2020 from COVID. She wasn't one of these people that died of a heart attack and they put COVID. She legitimately died from COVID. She went to work. The lady who worked with her had COVID, came into work, gave everyone else COVID. Everyone else was fine, but my mother died. So in 2020, when the height of the pandemic is happening, I'm stuck in my house. Right? I'm stuck in my house. And the only thing I can look at is social media and TV. And on social media and TV, everyone is making fun of COVID. Everyone is saying COVID is fake. COVID's not real. Only the weak people die from COVID. Only the people who have all these other illnesses die from COVID. COVID is a joke. It doesn't mean anything. All this, and I'm sitting there having just lost my mom. Having just lost my mom and not being able to have a funeral, not having a wake. I said bye to my mother in 10 minutes. 10 minutes. I got to go to Terra Grossa. I walked in. It was me, my wife, my sister, my brother-in-law, my aunt. 5 of us. We got to walk into the little room. My mother was there in the casket. Had 10 minutes to say bye to my mother. I didn't get to go with her in the hospital. I didn't get to do this FaceTime stuff that everyone was talking. I had 10 minutes to say bye to my mother. And I had to go back to my house after. So, feeling that way myself for this entire time the pandemic was happening, because my mom died in April 2020. She died at the beginning. So I had a year plus of sitting here, listening to that, looking at that, feeling that uncomfortable feeling. Do you know how many conversations I turned it into a skill? I turned it into a skill to open up a conversation or to start up a conversation or to somehow early in a conversation mention that my mother died from COVID. Why? Because I wanted pity? No. Furthest from the truth. Because I didn't want the person I was talking to feel uncomfortable when they inevitably said something about COVID that was misinformation, something that they would feel horrible once I answered them and said, well, my mother died from COVID. So I would figure out a way to mention my mom dying from COVID early in a conversation so that person would hopefully be smart enough to know not to say anything. Or at least to keep their comments to themselves. So I don't want to do that in my stand-up. I do not want to do that in my content. I want you to feel comfortable. I want you to feel happiness. I want you to feel a positive memory. But unfortunately, the algorithm doesn't like that. The algorithm doesn't like nostalgia. You know, I made the video yesterday where my father jokes with me that I need to become friends with Algoritmo, right? And he's talking about the algorithm. And that's I can't be friends without the algorithm because the algorithm doesn't like nostalgia. The algorithm loves anger. It loves emotions, preferably negative. That is why whenever you're scrolling, your stuff tends to be negative. It's always a negative video. It's always something that's not, like lately on my thing is it's videos complaining about people. Just complaining and whining and complaining and whining. It's very rarely positive. It's very rarely neutral. And that's where I think I am. I'm neutral. I'm almost like your safe space, even though I'm not. You know, I do cover topics that can be like dirty or innuendo or stuff like that, but I'm trying not to piss you off. I don't care. I mean, it's not like I'm going there. I just choose not to. And again, I pay the price for that. I accept that that's what I'm choosing. But I know what would work. You know, there's talent and then there's attention. And I personally think and this is the most credit you'll probably ever see me give myself, is that I'm probably one of the most talented people on social media. I personally think so, but I won't get the attention. I won't get the notoriety because nothing that I do is comes from a negative space. Years ago, and this is just something that happened. There was a comedian who was trying to grow big on social media and was doing fine. But what skyrocketed them wasn't their content. It was their beef with someone else. Their beef with someone else pitted the two people together. And then they started arguing. They started making their arguments public. Right? And the way this beef grew, they were arguing with each other, then other accounts would take sides. And because of all this bubble of negativity, that comedian became popular. That comedian became popular more than I could try. All because of a negative act. And I'm not saying there's no talent there. I'm not saying none of these people are doing what they deserve. Everyone deserves success. Everyone deserves. I'm not a hater from at all. Because here's the thing. When people come up to me and they say, hey, I think you're funnier than this guy, that's great. That's an opinion. But two things can be true. We both can be funny. You can follow more than one Italian content creator. Instagram doesn't have a limit to how many Italians you can follow. You know, we haven't reached that level of dictatorship in social media. But here's what I notice is that from me doing all this, what interests me is that I grew up in Bensonhurst, right? I grew up around, forget about it. Oh, bro, if she would have saw my Mercedes, bro, she went down on me, this and that. I gave him a slap. I cracked him. See, my throat even hurts doing that stuff. I grew up around these people. And I always call them the gabagool Italians. They're the people who are like fourth generation in this country. They're like a professional, like how Robert De Niro says it in Analyze This or That. They're a professional professional Italian from Connecticut. They're not a genuine Italian person. They're the stereotypical gabagool Italians. They're loud. They're saying the stuff that I grew up in the neighborhood listening to. They're every person I grew up around. You know, they're the people who hung out in the corners. They're the people who just screamed in front of the deli, yo, what up? Bro, look at this. It's just volume and stereotype. But it works. People who do that are touring. People who do that are selling tickets to his show. People who do that are getting brand deals. I can't even get invited to Italian Americans' social events. So, I'm convinced if all the guys from Bensonhurst that I grew up around had Instagram now, they'd be more famous than me. Guaranteed. Because there's being loud and being good. And they're just being loud. And the loudest person in the room you always think is the most confident. And I sit there in the back and I observe. That's where all my comedy stuff comes from. I observe everything. I sit there and I listen. I sit there and I watch and the entire time my mind is working, and I'll come home and I'll write something, and I'll go to my phone and I'll write something, and I'll talk about it on stage one day. And that's just me. And I know that that's why I am where I am. And I know if I were to choose to go that route. Granted, if I was skinny, I think I'd be a little bit more successful as well. Fat people have a harder thing getting ahead. And listen, I'm trying. I got the Munjaro, but apparently it stops working once you mix sopressata. This whole episode here, ironically, there's one quote, there's one moment that sticks with me. And it's stuck with me for years. And it's something that I still say. And it's something that I still reference. And ironically, it's from former Jets head coach Rex Ryan. I remember, I don't know if he said it in an interview on TV or if years ago I went to center stage with Michael Kay to watch Rex Ryan get interviewed. And because before the Jets really broke my heart, I was a huge Jets fan. I still am a Jets fan, but I had to calm down because it's just too much. But Rex Ryan was a defensive coordinator for years. He was one of the best defensive coordinators. He was passed up for head coaching jobs left and right. And the Jets were the first job he got as a head coach. And they'd ask him, they said, why did it take so long for you to get a head coaching job? You had a great resume. You deserved it more than others. And he said he didn't want to change who he was to get a head coaching job. He was loud. He's robust. He has a, he didn't want, he said if he changed who he was and acted differently, he could have got head coaching jobs years before. But he wanted to be hired by a team who wanted him for him. He wanted to be hired because of how he was, because of who he was. And that resonated with me. In my job, I talk to everyone the same way. I don't start using big words. I don't try to minimize my accent. I don't try to maximize my accent. I am who I am. My stand-up is who I am. This podcast, who I am. And maybe that's the cost of being yourself. But in reality, maybe it's not the right way forward because it's not working out for me. And it didn't work out for Rex Ryan. So who knows? I'm probably wrong. But thanks for hanging with me on this episode. As usual, RoccoTheComic.com for all your Rocco needs. I still don't know how to say goodbye. We'll figure it out one day. Ciao. Don't do anything with your hands. Just stop. Don't. Bye. All right, this is just, I'm going to have to cut this out because there's an echo playing. Please. Echo, stop everything from making noise right now.